Gupta Empire. Gupta Empire founded by Sri Gupta. The first two rulers of the Gupta Empire didn't do much in means of expansionism or policies which benefited the empire or the people, mainly the empire. So Sri Gupta, the founder, and then Ghatotkacha, second ruler. Sri Gupta founded Gupta Empire in 240 CE, and he was a scribe in Kusana dynasty at the time. Eet Singh, in 675 tells us that Sri Gupta made a monastery in Bodh Gaya for Buddhist people. Then the real founder, the ruler Chandragupta I is known as the real founder of the Gupta Empire. He ruled from 319 to 334 CE. He took pompous names like Maharaja Dhiraj, Parma Bhattarg, Param Devata. What he did was on administrative level. He reformed or reorganized the administrative and military of Gupta Empire. So king was at top, who was advised by his Mantri Parishad officials. Then Kumarmatasya, which is a group of mantrins who advised the prince, and prince was the one who was taking care at the provincial level. Then we see Bhutki. I mean, he was the people who were taking it province level was Uparika, but it was under Kumar Matsya, the prince. Provincial administration, Bhutki. Then we see on district level there is the Vishayapati, and district is known as Vishaya. On village level we have Mahataras, village head. There were some problems that occurred in Chandragupta I period, which was, we see that hereditary positions started to emerge, that people had permanent positions in the official level and military level. Then small bureaucracy compared to the modern empire, and it was mainly managed by Samanta. And as we see, Vasudev 1 and 2 granted so many land to these Samantas that they became more powerful and did revolt against the king. Then we see no centralized military was with them, no regulation of economic activities like Gahapatis at that time. Then Samudragupta came. Samudragupta came from 335 to 380 BC. He ruled, and he was the first Gupta ruler who followed the policy of expansionism. In Prayag Prashasti, which is written by Harisena, it tells us about his military conquest, in which he defeated 9 kings and 9 Gansanghas, 9 kings of Aryavarth, 9 Gansanghas of Rajasthan and Gujarat, and also tribal kingdoms like Atavak Rajya. He also defeated Pallavas of South, and King Ceylon, which is currently Sri Lanka, asked permission from him to make a monastery in Gaya, Bihar, and also gave tribute to Samudragupta. V.A. Smith also called him Napoleon of India, but it was not true, as Samudragupta was never defeated in war. Vaishnavite. He was a Vaishnavite by religion. He followed Vaishnavism. He also reintroduced yajnas. In his coins we found that Ashwamedh Yajna was depicted, rituals were depicted, Veena was also depicted, which tells us that Samudragupta was also very much in touch with arts and crafts and music, especially. He also promoted arts and crafts. Also, he was also known as Kaviraj due to it. He was a patron of poetry and other things. He was patron of Buddhism also. And we had a Buddhist in his court who was known as Vasubandhu. Sorry, Vasubandhu. After Samudragupta, Chandragupta II came, who ruled from 380 to 412 CE. He also got names like Vikramaditya, and normally he was called with different names as Shashank and Sakari. He had other names like Devi Chandraguptam of Vaishakadatta. He also did many conquests, like he defeated Sakas of Ujjain, killed his brother Ramgupta as he tarted or put bad name on the put bad put put dirt on his family name. Capitals: Chandragupta had two capitals, Patliputra and Ujjain. Chandragupta II also had 9 Navratnas in his court. Like or to name them was to name all of them, we have Aryabhatta. Who was that? Aryabhatta Kalidas, Amar Singh, Hari Sen, Dhanvantri, who was a physician, Dhanvatri, the physician, Veer Sen, who was a poet, Vatal Bhatt, who wrote Vital and something, and then Varuchi and Sanku, who was a court musician. Chandragupta II also released silver coins, made alliances with Maitrakas of Vallabhi in Gujarat and Vatakas. He married off his daughter Prabhavati Gupta to Vataka's prince, known as Rudrasen II. In Chandragupta II reign, we also see Fahian also came and tells us that it was a golden age at that time. Then after Chandragupta came Kumaragupta from 415 to 455 CE. He founded the Nalanda University, released Kartikeya coins in honor of Kartikeya, son of Shiva. Also, he wrote in Mandosar inscription. We find that Mandosar inscription in Vatsbhati. We find that it is mentioned how decline of trade and commerce of silk trade was happening at that time. Then we also see decline in trade with the Romans was also mentioned in Christian topography written by Cosmas. After Kumaragupta came Skandagupta. Skandagupta was last one, not last I think, but Skandagupta was ruling from So we see last ruler was Chandragupta from 455 to 466 CE. He was in turmoil because a lot of attacks was happening to in his period to his empire by Mihir Kul and Hunas. Hunas were Central Asian nomadic tribe, but he successfully pushed away both of them. It was written in Junagar rock inscription that he also repaired the Sudarshan Lake, which tells us about his control in Gujarat. The last ruler of the Gupta Empire was Vishnugupta. After that, we see a lot of disturbance in the area and emergence of regional powers like Maukharis in eastern UP and Bihar, Maitrakas in Vallabhis, Pushya Bhutis in Haryana, and Sasank in Bengal. After the decline, then we see what were the cultural achievements of Gupta Empire. First, there is golden age that, as said by Hasyang. Hasyang, or was it? It was who that said it? Fahyan, sorry. Fahyan told us that. Fahyan told us about how it was golden age at the Chandragupta time frame, and what can be the reasons for the golden age. Few reasons were the revival of Hinduism, maximum coin production in medieval era was by him, and also we see it was Gupta Empire was more prosperous than Mauryan Empire. Then we see diversity in art, architecture, literature, culture, temple architecture, others. Also, coming of foreign travelers like Fahyang. After that, we see why it can't be a golden age. What can be the reasons of that? First, it was a decentralized state, so the power not only lied with Guptas but with the autonomous Samantas who enjoyed a lot of powers in land and enjoyed rights of fiscal and fiscal and juridical rights on those lands. Emergence of feudatories, as I say, Samantas. Economic decline also, we see less silver and bronze coins were found at that time. Urban decay was emerging due to decline in trade found in Mandosar's inscription. Social evils were existing at that time. For example, social examples were social evils were there. A lot of social evils were there at that time. For example, sati against women, like sati, child marriage, polygamous marriages, stopping women to get education. Only higher varna women were allowed to have education, and in those also there were two types of education. One was Brahmavadin, which was lifelong study of sacred texts, and then some other was Sadyudvaha, which was education till marriage, until she gets married. And then we also see slavery at this period of time, but unlike the Gupta period, they didn't enjoy much rights. They were like permanent slaves. In Iran inscription, which was found in 510 CE and 510 CE, we found evidences of sati, killing of widows. Then there were other evils like Devdasi system. Shudras were treated as slaves. Untouchables emerged at that time, like Chandalas. There were two types of schools which about inheritance. First was Mitakashora School of Vijayanashawar, Vijayanashawar, which tells that at the time of birth, the inheritance directly goes to the son. And there was the Bhag School of Jimut Vahama, which tells us after the death of the father, the son gets the inheritance. There was also literature, a lot of literature that was written at that time, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vedas, Puranas, Smritis. I mean, they existed before that, but at the Gupta period of time, they were really written in they were found in written form. Then other literature was like mm, Maha Mallu Mallu Maha Yamab Mavuikamitram Maha Mabuika Gnimittram Raghuvansham Ritu Sohara Vikram और वर्ष्यम और अभिज्ञान शकुंतला by Kalidas. These were the main literary advances that were done. Then we see mural paintings were also found at that time, which was also known as wall paintings. In Ajanta caves, we find these paintings. In 29 caves of Ajanta caves, we find Ajanta paintings. Aurangabad, which is in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, it was mainly dedicated to Buddhism and Bodhisattvas and their teachings. We see traces of fresco painting here. Seethanavasal painting, Tamil Nadu, Jainism. Ellora caves, which is also in Maharashtra, Aurangabad. 34 caves were there, and in these caves, all the paintings of all three religions were found, but mainly Buddhism. Then Bagh painting of Dhar, MP, which had mural fresco paintings of mainly of Buddhism, influenced by Ajanta paintings. Then we see temple architecture was emerging at that time. First was Nagara style painting that emerged at that time, promoted by Guptas. It showed why there was a need to make a temple. Some reasons can be strong bhakti emotions were rising in people, protection from outside or weather, from animals, also to have a place for idols and images, to put them somewhere. Wall to maintain the sanctity and purity of the sanctity and respect of the place. अरे भाई साहब दिख नहीं रहा क्या भाई? आईएएस बन रहे हैं, आईएएस हाँ आईएएस बन रहे. अरे नहीं डर मत, नीचे तुझे पता ही है ना, आईएएस बन रहे. तेरे पापा तो जा रहे हैं शायद कल. हाँ मम्मी भी. लगता है तेरे को जानते हैं मेरे साथ. हाँ कर तो दी. ये मम्मी से अभी शाम को ही तो बात कर रहे थे. कवर लेना आया हूँ कुछ बेडशीट का मैं. अबे तो मेरी मम्मी ने पूछ लिया अभी तक. हाँ कब पूछा? ये तो तूने हुकुम का इक्का खेल दिया ना अचानक से. मेरी तो खुद फट गई. मैं ये क्या हो गया? खा के दिया. हाँ कह रही है ठीक है चले जाए. मम्मी मेरे से लड़ रही है, आई नहीं कहेंगी. हाँ मतलब दीदी अकेली है ना घर पे. हाँ तो मैंने कहा था ना कि दीदी को या तो अबे तो ये है ना कि दीदी को हम कहते थे कि हमारे घर आ जाओ उस दिन के लिए, मम्मी के साथ सो जाती हूँ और अगले दिन तो मैं यहीं पे रही नहीं क्योंकि खाना वाना खाऊंगी. तो रास्ते मान गए ना कि चलो लास्ट वर्किंग डे है, इसका हाफ डे है, कर लेगा छुट्टी. मैं तो कह ही रहा था. मम्मी कहती फिर कहीं वो फेल हो गया इस बार भी तो तेरे को पकड़ लेंगे अंकल कि तू ले गया तो इसे 30. मैंने कहा तो एक दिन ले गया था तो उसमें क्या हो गया. मार्क्स अच्छे आ रहे हैं.
True. The brave game.
तो काम कर अपना कौन आ गया so where were we yes so we were at mural paintings we completed temple architecture so these were the reasons to have the temple. Then we see two phases of this structure. In phase 1 we see simple layout and architecture of the temple. It was made to protect the devotees. Small structures, stones were used. Square garbhagriha sanctosanctorium was used. Flat roof and walls. In phase 2 we see bricks were used. Carvings and motifs were also there. There were curvilinear shikhara or vimana there. Mythological scenes were carved out on the walls. And for example, in Bhitargaon temple in Kanpur, we see the example of true arc. Then Odishan style temple, which had curvilinear shikhara, also known as Viman. And then it also had Jagmohan, known as Mandapa or audience chamber. Other than temple architecture, we see in science and tech it also had many contributions. For example, in metallurgy, we see woods or steel was made at that time. One of the example is Mehrauli pillar inscription of Delhi. तो अपना काम करेगा बड़ा वाला थैला कहाँ रखा बड़ा वाला थैला So, in science, we also see contribution of Aryabhatta in his book Aryabhatiyam and Surya Siddhant. Aryabhatiyam tells us about maths, astronomy, decimal system, and Surya Siddhant tells us about the how Earth rotates on its own axis. Then there were contribution of other mathematicians and astronomers like Brahmagupta and Varamihir, which contributed in math, algebra, and astronomy. Then we have Dhanvantri, who was court physician, and also father of medicine, known as father of medicine. But there were one other contemporary of his time known as Charak, who wrote Charak Samhita, oldest work of medicine, which is oldest work of medicine, and he was contemporary of Kanishka, not of Dhanvantri. He was contemporary of Kanish of Kusana. Shustra Samhita. Shustra Samhita is oldest work in medical surgery. He was the contemporary of us Dhanvantri and Gupta period. Then we also see contribution in veterinary science like Hastya Ayurveda, which tells about elephant diseases, written by Palkapya. Then Ashwashastra tells about horse diseases of Salihotra. कहाँ चला कहाँ चला? दिख रहा है मुझे तुम कितना पढ़ते हो. Then we have
आज तो पढ़ा था.
कम से कम.
आज तो थोड़ा सा पढ़ा मैंने.
हाँ तूने आज पढ़ा पर कम से कम ही पढ़ा तूने.
मैंने इतना कम भी नहीं पढ़ा.
Kalidas also tells about Variyantra, which is a watercolor. It is mentioned in his book Malvikagnimitram, and it also tells us about a mineral saltpeter which was used as cooling for the water. Then in education we see rote learning was promoted, oral tradition, Shruti literature. We talked about women in this. Basic education was given by Tols and Chatuspatis, dominated by Brahmins, but this was democratized by Buddhist monasteries. And we see Takshila, which was oldest university in 7th century BCE, gave higher education. Then also Nalanda Uni, which was founded by not Chandragupta but Kumargupta, I think. Kumargupta, no? Kumargupta founded Nalanda University. Hinsang also were there, known as Prince of Pilgrims. He tells us about the Nalanda University, and around 8,500 students were on permanent rules. There were 1,510 teachers. Chancellor was Sita Badra, and there were other teachers like Nagarjuna, Aryadev, Dignanga, Ashwaga, Vasutandhu. Students from Korea, China, Tibet, Mongolia, Java, Ceylon came here to learn. It was founded by Kumarut, but it was mainly promoted by Harshvardhan. Nalanda University taught Sanskrit, it taught humanities, philosophy of mainly Mahayan school, religion. It also taught medicine, art and craft, Vedas, Sanskrit grammar, life sciences, human behavior. There were libraries also there, which had around 1 million of books, and some books are like Ratna Sagar, Ratna Dhedi, Ratna Ranjika, and Gupta Empire ends there. यार ये मैं कभी चालू करना स्टार्ट कर देता हूँ, कभी नहीं करता, समझ नहीं आता. Then we have post-Gupta period that started. In post-Gupta we see Harshvardhan was the one who founded it. Harshvardhan was the first ruler after post-Gupta. He ruled from 606 to 647. He was a ruler of Thaneshwar. We found his name on inscriptions like Nalanda inscription and Sonipat inscription. He attacked Shashank of Ghoda and Devavarman of Malwa. Madhuban inscription, Banskera inscription. He was a Shaivite. Hyun Sang in his book Siyuki tells us sorry it was different. Hyun Sang in his book Siyuki, which is a biography of there was a biographer at Huli appointed by Wu Zetian, princess, or you can say queen of China, who said Huli to biograph the life of Hin Sang in his book Siyuki. Then in Harshvardhan period we see the best relations we have with China. So we see Kumariya was the first Indian to visit China. After him Vimal Kasha of Kashmir went there. Then Sangbhut of Mathura, who translated Sarvastivada Vinaya in Chinese. And then we see other reasons why Harshvardhan's period was good, had a good advancement, like unification and stability. He provided unification and stability in North India, especially Thaneshwar and Kannauj, which was his capital. Then Nave Shiladitya, name he was also known as Shiladitya. Then we see Bodhivarman, who of Deccan India, South India, taught Kalarai, inspired China with his martial arts Kalarai Pattu, and China made Shaolin from it. He had a good relations with Matrakas of Vallabhi, Bhaskara Varman of Kan Kanrup. Also, Wang Yan ambassador was sent by Tai Sung, Lai Sung, Lai Sung, who was ruler of China at that time, to have an appointment with Harshvardhan, but at that time Harshvardhan died. Then cultural achievements were also there, like he gave patronage to scholars like Mayur, Divakar, Banabhatt. He promoted Sanskrit in his court. He also wrote some plays like Priyadarshika, Nagananda, and Ratnavali, which tells us about, which is the oldest, in which we find the oldest mention of Holi. He also promoted Hinduism and Buddhism both. He had two Buddhist assembly in his time, first in Kannauj in 641 CE, and then in Prayag in 643 CE, where he had a Mahamoksha Parishad, and he gave away all of his things and became a ascetic. बाप रे, let's do रिविजन ज़्यादा हार्ड है भाई नॉर्मल पढ़ने से. What we have to do now? एक घंटा मैंने अभी तक लाइव कर लिया, बस इसमें से पढ़ा मैं 20-30 मिनट ही हूँ. तो let me do some things. So we start from modern and not postmodern, but Gupta and post-Gupta. It is quiz flashcards. Who is believed to be the founder of the Sri Gupta in 240 CE? According to the Chinese traveler Yi Singh, what Sri Gupta constructed at Bodh Gaya, a Buddhist monastery. Named Buddhist monastery at the Bodh Gaya in a village named Mirgasi Khawana. Mirgasi Khawana was village. Who is considered the real founder? Chandragupta I. What pompous titles? Divine origin theory of kinship were adopted by Chandragupta. Titles like Maharaja Dhiraj, Mahabhattark, Mahadevita, Maharaja Dhiraj, Paramdevta. What historical accounts work by Vishakadatta provides detail about the rise of Guptas? Vishakadatta provided details of the rise of Guptas. Vishakadatta. The plays Devi Chandraguptam and Mudrar Kshasha by Vishakadatta are primary literary sources for the Gupta period. The plays Devi Chandraguptam, ये मिस कर दिया मैंने कहीं बीच में. The plays Devi Chandragupta and Mudrar Shash by Vishaka Datta are primary literary sources of the Gupta period. Okay. There was some more. No. What the dash play is authored by Hari Sen. Not Hathi Kumpa, but achievement of Samudragupta. What? Mandosar player inscription. Prayag Prasashti or Allahabad. Okay. Prayag Prasashti inscription about Samudra Prayag Prasashti by Hari Sen. For his extensive military victories without a single defeat, the Napoleon, which is wrong. What was the royal emblem of Gupta Empire reflecting Samudragupta promotion? Royal emblem of Gupta Empire reflecting Samudragupta's promotion of Vaishnavism. समुद्रगुप्त का रॉयल एम्ब्लेम बुल तो नहीं होगा. गरुड़ा. अच्छा हाँ गरुड़ा. किंग ऑफ सिलोन ऑल्सो. गरुड़ ध्वज किंग सिलोन ध्वज. कोई और था, कोई इंडो ग्रीक था रूलर. Gondophares. I think Gondophares was the one. No. Yes. What title was given to Samudragupta due to his fondness for poetry? Kabiraj. Which musical instrument Samudragupta? Veena. The dash in the Qutub Minar complex, Delhi. ये था कौन सा था ये, कौन सा कलर था? नॉट मंदोसर, रोमन याद ही नहीं आता. मेहरौली. हाँ मेहरौली आयरन प्लेयर. The court of which Gupta ruler was adorned by 9 eminent people known as Navratras? Hari Sen, याद नहीं आता. आर्यभट्टा, हरिसेन, आर्यभट्टा, धनवंतरी, कालिदास. 4 ही नाम पता है, 5 बाकी याद ही नहीं आ रहे. नवरत्ना के तो मुझे भी पता है. Who was the renowned physician and one of the Dhanvantri? The Chinese Buddhist traveler Dash visited India during the reign of Chandragupta II. Fahian. Which Gupta ruler founded the famous Nalanda? Kumargupta. The Mandosar reception authored by Vats Bhatti mentioned the migration of silk weavers from Lata, Gujarat to Daspur, including what economic trend during the Gupta period? Decline. Decline in trade of commerce, especially the silk trade. Modern historians critique the idea of Gupta Golden Empire, pointing emergence of feudatories who became autonomous powers, samantas. The concept of urban decay, meaning the decline of urban centers. Socially, the Gupta age is criticized for the proliferation of caste and emergence of the Varna system based on exclusive occupations. Jati system, sorry. What new caste of scribes emerged during the... Sri Gupta was a scribe, but I don't know. Kayasthas. What was Vishti during the Gupta period? Vishti was a province. Vishti was वो तो विश्या था. Vishti was forced labor in which mainly Shudra class and lower varnas होते हैं, treated as serfs. The first recorded evidence of sati is found in Iran, Iran inscription. The scientific text Dash is the first to explain the scientific reason behind the solar eclipse and claim the solar eclipse बताया था उसने सूर्य सिद्धांत by आर्यभट्ट. In his work Aryabhatiyam, what the key mathematical concepts? Decimal system और क्या था? Decimal system, zero, astronomy, use of zero in decimal system. What is wood? It is a mixture of metals. high quality steel. Oh, wood for high quality steel, pinnacle of metallurgy. Okay. The dash is an ancient text on medical surgery compiled by बहुत सिंपल है फिर सुश्रुता नहीं है सिंपल सुश्रुता समिति सुश्रुता samhita. He was contemporary of Gupta. What was the Vari Yantra mentioned in Kalidas? It is a type of water cooler which used saltpeter as to cool the water. It is mentioned in Malvikagnimitra. The last recognized king of Gupta line who reigned from 540 to 550 CE was Vishnugupta. Invasions by which group of northwest during Skandagupta's reign? Mihirkul, Mihirkula or Huna, Central Asian tribe of Central Asian nomadic tribe. Huna. Who became the ruler of Thaneshwar in 606 CE? And what is the central figure of the north post of the Harshvardhan? What is the name of Banabhat's biography of Harsha, which provides key social information? Harsh Charita. The Chinese traveler, not Fahian, Hinsang wrote, Huli wrote Siyuki, an important god of in India during, it was then Hinsang. In early medieval period, the lawlessness in Bihar and Bengal that emerged after Harsha's era was known as Dark Age. Oh हाँ, याद नहीं आ रहा ये इसमें किसने बताया था? फिर इसके बाद का पेज भी इसका मतलब लेट मी सी, इसके बाद का पेज है, बट ये तो फिर हिस्ट्री ऑफ साउथ इंडिया आ गई. हिस्ट्री ऑफ साउथ इंडिया, फिर मैंने लास्ट लिखा है वही अर्ली मिडीवल इंडिया के बारे में. कल अर्ली मिडीवल से दोबारा चालू करेंगे, फिर आगे बढ़ेंगे. हिस्ट्री ऑफ साउथ इंडिया, हिस्ट्री ऑफ साउथ इंडिया में ही होगा कहीं. मैंने नहीं हिस्ट्री ऑफ साउथ इंडिया अर्ली मिडीवल इंडिया में है. हाँ, तो अर्ली मिडीवल लिखा था. लॉलेसनेस क्या था? लॉलेसनेस इन बिहार वाज नोन एज मत्स्य न्याय. Matsya Nyaya, who founded the Pala kingdom in 550 CE, being elected people to end period of Matsya Nyaya. ये कहाँ आ गए हम? The Pala ruler of Dharmapala established today. जो गुप्ता के बारे में वो पढ़ेंगे. ये नहीं गुप्ता, no Gupta. Distinct attacks of Guptas mentioned in Gupta sources, one settled and one caravan trader. The Shreshti settled trader and the Sartavaha caravan trader. He was also leader of the guild. Gupta administration. What were the provinces known as? In the Gupta administrative system, what were the provinces known as? Vishya, Bhatki, Bhakti, Bhakti, Swaji, Deshas और Bhakti, sorry. वो तो नहीं, जो कंट्रोल करते थे वो विश्य थे, विश्यापति. The governance of province Bhutki during the Gupta period usually it is विश्यपति. अरे मैं पूरा क्या गलत कैसे हो रहा हूँ यार? Uparikas, okay, Uparikas. In Gupta, what was the title for the minister for peace and war? Sandhi Vigrahika, Mahasandhi Vigrahika, Sandhi Vigrahika. What were the high-ranking judicial or military officers called in the Amatyas? Dandanayakas or Mahadandanayakas. We saw the development of two principal styles of temple architecture. Nagara. According to Fayan account, what to use as the medium of exchange for day-to-day transformation, indicating move towards the barter system. Seashells, okay. I mentioned it, na? Okay. What was the official language of the Guptas used in the all their epigraphic records? What was the what was the official language of the Guptas used in our Sanskrit? The period of Harsha is known as from the writing and is quote poet dash as the Chinese film Hyun Song. The period of Harsha is known from the writing of his court poet Hari Sen या फिर नहीं हर्षा ना हरि सेन बना भट्ट sorry बना भट्ट wrote that Harsha divided his stage run into 4 parts. What was the fourth part used for? Charity to religious institution. According to historian Burton Stein, Gupta administration was truly centralized only in the central area with the system of decentralized. In Harsha's administration, what were the subordinate of feudatory rulers known as Samantai only? Samantas, Mahasamantas. In Harsha's era, what was the term for the official appointed to dispense justice? Harsha के बारे में ज़्यादा बताया नहीं सर ने. They were called Mimamsakas. The Dash dynasty of Bengal was founded. ये तो भी the Dash temple, the Sun temple. तो कोई पिछला क्वेश्चन आता है Vardhan dynasty अभी तक पढ़ा ही. What was the term for forced labor during the Gupta period? Vishti. Hiranya. Vishti. Arshama listed features of what social economic activism in Delhi, which began in the Gupta era. Feudalism. Kamandaka's Nitisara. The Amar Simha and Navaratna in the Amar Simha and Navaratna took the two court compiled a famous Sanskrit 3 Sarastras known as Amar Kosh. His body village including the Pranas. The Smriti literature. What is the term of a society or organization? The common interest which was major institution. Guild. Pala ruler. इसमें ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन अर्ली में डेल क्या हो गया और हर्षवर्धन और गुप्ता तेरे के बाद में कई चीज़ें जो मुझे पता थी. हेटेरोडॉक्स क्या पढ़ना था मुझे? हेटेरोडॉक्स स्लैश टेम्पल गुप्ता क्या कर रहे थे हम? Gupta and post Gupta case. The according provides what is the primary reason modern historians challenge the characterization of Gupta is there was complete decline in all forms of nine. The Gupta was institute maximum of Gupta which led to several nine scientific achievements such as invention of zero. The periods of the beginning of politically centralization right of our autonomous. The Mandosa reception authored by Vats Bhatti provides crucial evidence of a decline in trade and commerce leading to silk rivers which are to trade routes, the new monopoly, rapid increase in prosperity. Do the sources draw between the bureaucracy of Gupta Empire and that of Maurya? What key distinction do the sources draw between the bureaucracy of Gupta and Maurya? Samantas मतलब से विष्णुगुप्त 1 और 2 उन्हीं के तो थे. नहीं विष्णुगुप्त 1 2 उनके नहीं थे. larger and more centralized. हाँ centralized थी गुप्ता एम्पायर की. नहीं mostly larger नहीं large तो नहीं थी. ये गलत है. गुप्ता officers paid in cash to gold coins whereas Mauryan ये true है. Gupta held hereditary position of feature not. हाँ ये था. सूर्य सिद्धांत by Aryabhatta poses of which Gupta ruler is credited with repulsing the initial Huna invasion? It was Skandagupta. Initial तो I think Skandagupta से पहले Kumargupta. An achievement recorded in the Bhatari pillar inscription. Initial Huna तो फिर Kumargupta आ गया. Skandagupta था. बेतारी पिलर इंस्क्रिप्शन मैंने लिखा नहीं है यहाँ पे। होना उसको भगा दे तो लिख लेता हूँ 2 सेकंड। बेतारी inscriptions. In the post-modern period, what was the primary function of Sartava leader? To command guilds, militia, and protect trade routes, to serve as a banker and financier, for to act as a head of craftsmen, build overseeing production, to lead a caravan of traders. Pushyamitra Sunga reign in 700 revival of Brahmanism, which action acts supports this immediately. He commissioned the writing of Manu. He established Vidisha and MP. He successfully defended against Greek. He supports the importation. He defeated the development of the Jati system or the proliferation of numerous castes based on occupation is identified a key social change during which Gupta लोगों ने कर ली. What was the significance of the title Maharaj Dhiraj adopted by pompous title to divine origin theory? Adopted from the Kusanas, making tradition of Gupta to imperial power. Maharaj Dhiraj. According to the sources, what was the significant implementation of Gansangals compared to the monarchical Mahajanpadas? Bada random आ रहा. They lacked a strong economic base for trade and commerce, preventing them from maintaining a permanent army. Commerce preventing them, ये तो है सच है. They refused to allow Kshatriya class role. They were located in fertile. The kings were absolute authorities, unfettered power. The Prague Prasishtilabad inscription is a key source of reign of Samudragupta. मैंने लिखा है कि समुद्रगुप्त में नहीं. इसमें समुद्रगुप्त कौन सा इंस्क्रिप्शन है? प्रयाग प्रशिष्टिलाहाबाद इंस्क्रिप्शन. लिखा तो नहीं है मैंने. लिखा है वैसे प्रयाग प्रशिष्टि बाय हरिसेना. प्रयाग प्रशिष्टि not which of the following is not achievement of Samudragupta mentioned. He founded Nanda University to promote Buddhist. Samudragupta ने नहीं कहा था, but he was यहाँ पे रुको बच्चे कलेक्ट. He received tribute. Yes. He defeated kings. Yes. He led an army to. Yes. What technological achievement of Gupta period is exemplified by Maharali iron pillar? It didn't trust. Yes. Iron with the ability of large bronze. The invention of wood steel, which was highly sought after in the schools of art. White marble कौन यूज कर रहा था? लेटर इन्फ्लुएंसिंग टेम्पल. मथुरा वाली तो ग्रे सैंडस्टोन फ्रॉम चुनार. वाइट मार्बल लग नहीं रहा कि मेरे को. गंधारा यूज कर रहे तो अमरावती. Ayodhya, Bharut and Vidisha inscription are cited as evidence for which rulers effort in reviving Vedic practice. Ayodhya, Bharut and Vidisha. Pushmitra Song. What social practice discriminated towards his first record as epicry? Devda system. Child marriage. Denial of Upnayana ceremony. Sati, the killing of widows. According to Chinese traveler Fahian account, what is Fahian's account? What indicates a move towards a barter system or a decline in the use of metallic currency, or the minting of large number of the establishment of centralized banking, the issue of Roman gold, the use of cowries. The Periplus of Erythraean Sea, Erythraean Sea is important Greek source of the postmodern period because it provides the what specific type of information. For postmodern, a list of important ports, good exported to Roman world. A philosophical comparison, an account of Alexander, a detailed biography. The rise of Mahajanpada in 6th century BC marked a significant political transition from Jana to Janpada. पुराने यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हैं? The replacement of pastoral economies with ones based exclusively on maritime trade. The replacement of pastoral, a shift in people's loyalty, the unification of all tribes, the transition from monarchical system to republican. Pastoral economies with ones based exclusively on maritime trade. यार ये कुछ नहीं लग रहा. Tribe to clan to a specific territory. Which of the following literary sources on polity addressed to a king and written around 400 CE is mentioned as a key text for understanding Gupta period? Literary sources on polity addressed to king written around Gupta Charita, Vishakadats Mudrarakasham, Kalidas Malvika Grimitram, Harisen Praga Prasashti. Harisen. Oh, Kamandaka's Niti Sara defines Kamandaka's Niti as a work of politics. The term Shramana is used for what is fundamental criticism of these movements. They focused on the worship of a single supreme deity. They were antithetical to Shramana. They were state-sponsored. During Harshavardhana's time, the text mentions Bodhi Dharma traveling from India to what is introducing Shaolin martial inspired by Kalaripattu. What was the process of Vajpayee Yagya performed by kings to assert symbolic chariot race? The source material argues against the diffusionist theory of origin of Harappan civilization. What is the basis of the relation of decline due to climate change? Discovery of Rakhi Gadi proved the relation. The process of gradual evolution. The Harappan script has been deciphered and found to be unrelated to the proposal of gradual evolution. According to the sources, why is V. Gordon Childe Neolithic evolution applied to the Neolithic age? Because of major changes in material culture, primarily the invention of agriculture, because of invention of polish and chiseled stones, because of creation words, because of widespread domesticization. Not quite. Key feature था. Major change in material culture, primarily the invention of agriculture and permanent. What is the key difference highlighted between Upper Paleolithic and Mesolithic rock paintings? What is the key differences highlighted between Upper Paleolithic? 2 seconds. Hello. कौन है भाई जो कॉल कर देता है बट so what is the difference of Upper Paleolithic and Mesolithic rock paintings? These paintings were discovered by Vishnu, दोनों ही विष्णु. Upper Paleolithic paintings depicted family life, whereas Mesolithic showed only individual figures. Mesolithic paintings had a predominance of hunting scenes. Upper Paleolithic used wash technique. False. 2 सेकेंड हमारा इवैल्यूएशन आ गया आंसर का. आई वांट टू सी. 4 मार्क्स मिले मुझे for this writing. 4 तो मतलब 3 सर ने कहा था गंदा करा आपने, 4 भी गंदा ही करा है, 5 6 आ रहे तो उसका मतलब अच्छा करा है. Let's see. Clearly established thesis that culture outlived which perished till modern today. You covered about Pashupati seal. You could be more specific. अच्छा. Connect the significance of town. अच्छा connect करूँ significance of town. Level of effective inclusion. अच्छा title effective inclusion. Alive also well consolidated with relevant. चलो ये तो अच्छा है. You covered the more. You could be more specific about the nature of worship. Pashupati seal, veneration of trees and animals. Okay. Clearly कहाँ पे कौन से वाले में craft great bath religion. Connecting for significance of town planning and survival of rural clearly established thesis those culture outlived the cities. बहुत जल्दी मिला. मोर स्पेसिफिक. ठीक है, और लिखेंगे थोड़े आंसर एक दिन में और भेजेंगे. Okay, so where were we? The Navratnas of 9 jewels including Kalidas and Dhanvantari were eminent figures in the court of which Gupta ruler? Chandragupta II. Done. Last revision, then we are done for today. I mean, we can do other things, we can do more quizzes and all, but let's go. Oh sorry, ये नहीं दिखाना था आपको. आज मिलेगा. आप इसको हटाओ. हाथों वगैरह में वो तो मिल गया. क्या कर रहे हैं, 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 क्या कर रहे हैं. is racism against white Americans worse than other races? ये क्या देखना चाहता हूँ मैं. So we have to continue on from post Gupta and start from history of South India and Sangam age. History of South India and Sangam age. We see the history of South India starts from Paleolithic age, where we see tools were found in Pallavaram and Atipakam, Atarampakam by Robert Bruce. We see missing Mesolithic and Chalcolithic era in history of South India, but we see abundance of iron tools, which indicates to Neolithic and megalithic culture at that time. We see evidences of it from Brahmagiri and Maski in Karnataka, Nagarjunakonda and Thelashwaram in Arunachal Pradesh, Payyampalli and Sannur in Tamil Nadu. What do we find in the megalithic culture? We see megalithic culture was also been found in northeast, also in Mizoram and Meghalaya, but we will be talking about South India. Burial sites with big stones on them, iron tools in abundance, agriculture and animal rearing. Ragi and Kulathi were the main crops at that time. Black and redware pottery, barter system, and also village system was prevalent in megalithic period. Then we see civilizations also emerged out of South India, like Thamira Barani civilization in near river Tamraparani in Tamil Nadu. Sites like Adichanallur and Korkai where the evidences are found. We see evidences of metallurgy and maritime trade from other countries, and mainly it will be spices only, and urban heliation in 1200 BCE. Then other civilization is Kiladi civilization of Kiladi village, Madura, Tamil Nadu. Pottery was found, evidences of pottery was found there. Tamil Brahmi script was used there. Silver coins was also used there. Urban life, we see evidences of urban life there. And then came our Sangam age, most prominent feature of South Indian history. So K.N. Shastri tells us about Sangam is a Tamil literature whose patrons were Pandyans, and it tells us about history of Tamilakam. Most of the works of Sangam literature didn't survive till today, but some did, and we make our assumptions from it. And Tamilakam, river Kaveri to Madurai. This Tamilakam is from river Kaveri to Madurai. First Sangam was done in Madurai by Rishi Agastya. Agathium was founded there, or was the outcome of it. Then second Sangam was done in Kapadaparam. Tolki Payyam was published by Tolki Pariyar. Then we have third Sangam, which is in Nakkirar, and more literature was produced like Itugai, Patu, Pradrin Kika Nakam, and epics like Jivika, Sindhamani, Silpadikaran, Mani Mekalai. Sangam or the area of Tamilakam was divided into 5 ecosystems. First was Kurinj, which was hilly region used for hunting and gathering. Then Murthan, which was riverine land used for agriculture. Then Mullai, which was basically forest used for pastoralism and shifting agriculture. And then there was Nethal, coastal area used for fishing and to make salt. Then Pallai, which was a perch land not useful for anything, basically robbery and cattle lifting was there because there was no way for them to earn anything or do anything to sustain themselves. Then we see the main three powers of the Sangam age were Chera of Vanji Kurur, Chola of Uraipur or Puvar, Pandyas of Madurai, and we see Sangam poems of Patul Patti tells us about Sangam poem like Patupati, which tells us about warrior ethics, and it tells us about Agam and Puram, which is love and war. Vita, one of the things that was done was Vita Kirutal, which is a heroic death by fast. If like a king didn't die in a battle and got defeated and didn't die in the battle, then he will commit Veta Kirutal ritual in which he will kill himself by starvation, like for same as Jainas who did Salilekha, and it was considered as heroic death. And there was a heroic stone Natukal which was placed there and it was worshipped like a god. Then we also spice trade from South India to Southeast Asia and Romans. And there were a lot of ports. In east we see Korkai and Arikamedu. In west Muzri, Tundris and Naura. Then we see Tolki Payyam, which tells us about marriage rituals of north. Rishi Agastya and Pashuram was the one who introduced Aryan culture in South India. We see that South Indians knew about the Varna system, but they didn't follow it. They had a clan based hierarchical lineage and hereditary system also, but it wasn't a Varna system. They had a Kuti system where there was Brahmins and non-Brahmins. Ananku, magical forces, literature, Silpadikaran. Ananku, literatures like Silpadikaran by Talango Vadigal, Mani Mekholai, Satawar, Jivaga, Sindhmani of by Tirutka Devar were produced. Chera king Sangutwam started a Patni cult, which was for goddess Kannagi. Then we see emergence of Kalabaras, who were tribals, war tribals, and they defeated and basically wiped out Cheras, Pallavas and Cholas, all of them from the map. And then we see 300 years of nothing. From 300 to 600 BC we see nothing in Sangam age, and that is why it is called as Dark Age. Let me search what was the time period for the Dark Age. Dark Age of South India 300 to 600 CE. वही ना, मैंने BC लिख रखा तो मैं कंफ्यूज हो रहा हूँ इधर, तभी मैं सोचूं BC में तो घटना चाहिए, मतलब BC में तो उल्टा हो गया ना, अगर 600 to 300 हो तब सेंस बनाता. ओह सॉरी, मैंने 6 काट दिया, B की जगह CE है. Calabras tribals. Calabras tribals, barbaric and uncivilized. After that we see मेरे एक बार ना पूरा छोटा सा ब्रेक लेता वैसे मैं बहुत सारी ले चुका हूँ बट एक छोटा सा ब्रेक just to relieve myself and then I will make a timeline here because I get confused in South India. sorry for taking constant breaks. It's more. Where were we? We were making a time frame. Who came, then who, then who. Mainly in Tamil history. Sorry, in South Indian history, not Tamil history. So first came Chera Chura Chara. समझ नहीं चल बोलता चेरा चुरा चारा कहाँ पे आया चुरा चारा चेरा चुरा चारा पोस्ट मॉडर्न के बाद इसका समय में चेरा फर्स्ट सेंचुरी CE time period of Cheras Cholas were also around सर्च कर लेते हैं टाइम पीरियड ऑफ Cheras Cholas and Pandyas संगमेश 300 BC to 300 CE ठीक है ओके चेरास अर्ली पीरियड 3rd century to 5th century CE Cholas from 9th to there were 2 Cholas ना तो ये दूसरा Cholas है तो Pandyas were from 6th century BC to तो ये अर्ली संगम पांड्यास चोलास पांड्यास एक प्रॉपर टाइमलाइन दे चलो इनको हटाओ पल्लवास इन सबसे चालू करते हैं ना पल्लवा चालुक्य to his चोला पे खत्म होते हैं तो पल्लवा चालुक्य और राष्ट्रकूटा इनका देखने मेरे को टाइमलाइन Pallava, Chalukyas, Cholas, और कोई था राष्ट्रकूटा भी तो था Cholas and Rashtrakutas Pallavas from 275 to 897 CE and then Chalukya of Badami from 543 to 753 राष्ट्रकूटा बिल्कुल ही चालुक्य के बाद आए हैं तो ये उस टाइम पे थे ही नहीं जब ऐसा मस्ती कर रहा था बस राष्ट्रकूटा और चोला के बीच में चल रही थी मस्ती और चोला तो बिल्कुल ही चालुक्य के भी बाद आए हैं चोलास तो चालुक्य के भी बाद आए हैं पल्लवा चालुक्य आपस में मस्ती कर रहे थे चालुक्य निकले तो राष्ट्रकूटा आए राष्ट्रकूटा चोला आपस में मस्ती कर रहे थे फिर पर लग रहा चोला ने राष्ट्रकूटा की मस्ती जल्दी ख़त्म कर दी मुझे देखना पड़ेगा यार कैसे मैं इसको करूँ कि मैं समझ पाऊँ कौन आया तो पल्लवा से चालुक्य साथ चलते हैं राष्ट्रकूटा आफ्टर चालुक्य तापी बदामी देन चोला आया. चोला रह सकता है सेम पीरियड ऑफ टाइम पे थे, पर चोला ज़्यादा देर तक रही. ठीक है. तो पल्लवास ऑफ नरसिम्हावर्मन नहीं, Bappa Deva was the founder of Pallava dynasty. He was the feudatories of Satavahanas. Simha Vishnu was considered the real founder. There were then other rulers like Mahendravarman, who was a Jaina, then later converted into Shaivism from 509 to 630 CE. He had political stability in his state, and 6th century CE Pallavas Kanchipuram and Chalukyas Badami. In text we know about Mahendravarman from the text Matavilasa Parahasana, criticism of Kapalikas, which is a sect of Shaivism and Buddhism. Okay. And Mahendravarman had bull as a symbol. Okay. अरे हाँ, चेरा, चोला और पांड्या का सिंबल क्या था? Let me write it down. पहले पता नहीं कहाँ गए जाते हैं. तो we have चेरा का था bow and arrow. चोला का था टाइगर, बाउंसिंग टाइगर. पांड्यास का था फिश, two fish or twin fish. Then we see after in Mahendravarman rule, who had bull as a symbol, he made Hindu temples, promoted Sanskrit and Prakrit in his court used Sanskrit and Prakrit in his court as a court language. There were some issues also that he wasn't able to solve, like Raichur Doab issue, which was from river Krishna to river Tungbhadra. Then East Coast issue between river Krishna and river Godavari, and these issues were from Chalukyas of Badami. Third issue was of Konkan area of West Coast. After Mahendravarman, we see Narsimhavarman I, ruled from 630 CE to 668 CE. He defeated Pulkeshin II of Chalukya. And Pulkeshin II was the one who defeated Mahendravarman. Narsimhavarman I, also called as Vatapi Konda, which is destroyer of Badami. What was the reason of the decline? Unnecessary wars, fail in economy. Aditya I Chola killed the last ruler of Pallavas. So Cholas put the end to Pallavas. Who was the last ruler? Aparajita. Aditya I put end to Pallavas. Then we see Chalukyas, who also were at the same time period emerged in Karnataka region in 6th century CE or BCE. I think BCE. Chalukyas emerged in 6th century BCE. ये नहीं सी हाँ 6th century CE. Founder was Jaisimha, who was feudatory of Kadambas in Banvasi, Maharashtra, of Mayur Sharman. We see Pulkeshin 1 from 535 to 566 CE, then Pulkeshin 2, who defeated Mahendravarman and got defeated by Narsimhavarman 1. Pulkeshin 2 came into power, most powerful ruler of the Chalukyas from 609 to 642 CE. Promoted Sanskrit and Kannada language, also used it as court language, defeated local powers. All of it is written in Aihole inscription, which was written by his minister Ravi Kirti, who was a Jaina. He also made a temple in Aihole named as Meghuti Temple. Chalukyas were replaced by Rashtrakutas, Vaishnavas. Chalukyas were Vaishnavas. Their symbol was wild boar. Rashtrakutas came. Their founder was Danti Durga at Manyakhet Malkheda, Maharashtra, Karnataka in 8th century CE. Then we mostly talk about the Dravida style temple architecture, a lot about it. So Chambera, also known as Mandapa, started. Pallavas were the one to contribute to the Dravida style of architecture in Tamil Nadu. Painting and sculpture was part of the temple architecture. So the first site we found is in Mahabalipuram or Mahabalipuram. So in Mandapa style was the earlier one that was used. Then it transformed into Ratha style, in which we see in Mandapa style we had only one mandapa, and Ratha style we see multiple mandapas made from one stone monolith. Example was 7 Patogas of Mahabalipuram. There were 5 Pandavas there and goddess Durga and Krishna. Narasimhavarman made a freestanding temple there, freestanding temple architecture. Example, Shore Temple of Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu. Sculpture art was also there. As we said, it was integrated in the temple. Descent of Ganga, Arjuna's penance in Mahabalipuram. Durga as a Mahishasura Mardini. Krishna lifting Govardhan. Yudhishthir, Dharmaraj Yudhishthir was also depicted in these sculpture arts. Cave art architecture was early architecture found in Kanchipuram. So Pallavas made smaller temples. Nandivarman style 8th century CE, like Vaikuntha Perumal, Kanchipuram and Mukteshwar, Mahabalipuram. That was the contribution of Pallavas. Then we come into Chalukyas. Chalukyas contributed in painting and Chalukyas contributed to early cave architecture like Badami caves, in which images of Vishnu and Sheshnag and dancing Nataraja was found. Pulkeshin II promoted freestanding temples like Meghuti Temple. Vikramaditya II made temples like Virupaksha Temple in Patahak, Karnataka. Then we see also images of Vesara style here from 6th to 8th century CE. Sites were Aihole, Badami, Padakal, Mahakota in Bagalkot in Karnataka. Vesara style was a hybrid style in which Nagara and Dravida style was mixed. So from north Nagara style we took decoration, carvings and shikhara, also known as Vimana. And from south or Dravida style we took the design, mandapa and veranda. Some examples of Vesara style is Durga temple of Aihole. Aihole is also known as city of temples as it has 70 plus temples there. Chalukya also we find Sandhara style there, in which we see sanctum was enclosed and it helped in parikrama. In Pulkeshin 2 we also find paintings. Pulkeshin 2 also promoted paintings which are Ajanta paintings receiving Ajanta in sorry I will say it again. In Ajanta paintings we see Pulkeshin 2 depicted there, why who is receiving Persian ambassador. Chola Empire also contributed a lot to Dravida architecture, temple architecture. Cholas were ruled from 9th to 13th century CE, and they also put full stop to Pallavas. These Chola founded by Vijayalaya in 805 CE, Tanjore, Tamil Nadu. He dated back his ancestry to King Karikala of Sangamed Chola. And in Chola Empire we see the zenith of, which means the pinnacle of Dravida style. In two phases we see this thing happening. First from 9th to 11th century CE and second from 11th to 13th century CE. First was the booming period of the style of the art and architecture, second was not so. You see Shiva temple in Malai, Tanjore by Vijayalaya Chola. Shiva temple of Malai, Tanjore was made by Vijayalaya Chola. Aditya and Parantak of 10th century CE also constructed temples. Raja I, who was of second phase, constructed Brihadeshwara temple of Tanjore, which had 60 meter of Vimana, Shikhara, 80-ton slab of Shikhara, pillar mandapa, Parivarlaya, Sanctorium. Also Rajendra I, who was a very powerful ruler, made Pravida style, who was of Vijayanagar rulers medieval period. Sanskrit and Tamil court language of I think Raja I, patron of literature and language, dance and music, Bharatanatyam. In second phase also we see Gopuram from first phase. If we compare from first phase to second phase the temples, we see that Gopuram is taller than Vimana, Garbhagriha is small. Kulothung I made a Shiva temple in Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu in 12th century CE. We see metallic sculptures made of 5 metal alloys, such as Dancing Lord Nataraja, and it was excellence of that time. But first it was did by Pallavas, but in the period of Cholas it emerged in excellence, these metal sculptures of Dancing Lord Nataraja. In Tanjore we see metallurgy and image made through lost wax or Siripardu technique of to describe Lord Nataraja. It had 4 arms in different directions. Dandahasta Mudra, one hand, Abhoy Mudra, other hand, Tribhanga, 3 opposite direction. Lord Nataraja's body was posing at 3 different directions. Locks of hair were symbolism of a cradle of goddess Ganga flowing to earth. Lord Nataraja of Ananda Tandava Mudra. We see snake also. Snake as ornament on neck. Drum, drum and fire in both hands, depicting creation and destruction. Then the right leg on the right leg we see a dancing dwarf known as Moyalak, which depicts ignorance and evil. And we see also that CERN of Switzerland also has placed a Nataraja, Lord Nataraja's sculpture there for inspiration. इसके आगे अब हम करेंगे वापस से सेम चीज़, which is flashcards and quizzes, not quizzes but flashcard and quiz. So we are in temple quiz अलग से करेंगे या फिर साथ में करें? I think मैंने साउथ इंडियन हिस्ट्री का अलग से बनाया था फ्लैश कार्ड. This quiz साउथ इंडियन prehistory Harappa South Indian flashcards. From which prehistory period have scholars traced history of South India with evidence from sites like Pallavaram and Attipakam? Evidence from sites like prehistoric South. समझ नहीं आया. अच्छा पहले वगैरह ये पूछ रहे थे. Unlike in North India, the history of South India is shown as overlapping of Neolithic age with the megalithic culture. What is the primary characteristic of the megalithic culture found in South India? It had burial sites, and on burial sites large stone was placed, iron tools, and village-based community barter system. Large stone burial sites, megaliths. Besides large stone burials, what type of tools are found in abundance at megalithic? Iron tools. What type of pottery? Black and red ware. The recent discovery of the थली नहीं यार नाम ही नहीं पता मुझे सही से क्या था. Thamira Barani civilization. Thamira Barani civilization dated to 1155 BCE on the bank of Tamraparani river. At which two sites has the Tamraparani civilization been discovered? Adichanallur and Korkai. The discovery of pottery with Tamil Brahmi script and silver coins at Kiladi. The discovery of pottery with Tamil Brahmi script and silver coins at Kiladi suggests a cultural continuity with which earlier civilization? Brahmi script. Harappan civilization. Indus Valley. According to K.N. Shastri, the history of South India properly begins with the Sangam age due to the availability of what source of materials? Sangam material, history of Tamilakam, the availability of Sangam Tamil literature. Which dynasty of kings patronized the literary assemblies of Pandyas? Pandyas of where Kadambi, not Badami, नहीं Badami तो चालुक्य का था. Pandyas of where? Pandyas of Madurai. What was the Sangam literature ecozone known as Kurinji? नहीं पता. Kurinji was the hilly region where the primary occupation was hunting and gathering. What was the Sangam literature ecozone known as Marutham? नहीं पता. Marutham was riverine tract where agriculture was practiced using plough and irrigation. Okay. What was the Sangam literature ecozone of Mullai? I don't know. Forested region characterized pastoralism, shifty cultivation. Ecozone of Naithal. Naithal was coastal area for fishing and salt making. Pallai is wastelands where robbery occurred. Crater lifting and robbery occurred. Parchland. वो name are the major kingdoms that emerged during the Sangam age. Cheras of पता नहीं कहाँ के. Cheras, Cholas, Pandyas. Cheras of मैं देख रहा हूँ कहाँ के. Cheras of Vanji और Kurur. Cholas of Vaju और Oraiyur और Puhar. Pandyas of Madurai. चेरा का सिंबल था बोएनार और चोला का टाइगर, पांड्या का फिश. What were the respective capitals of Chera, Chora, Pandya? चेरास का था वंजी एंड करूर, चोलास का ओरैयूर और you can call it a पुहार, पांड्यास का मदुरई. Sangam poems are often characterized based on the two main themes, Agam and Puram. Agam love and Puram war. What was the ritual of Vattikural? It was a heroic death of kings who didn't died in battle but starved themselves to death. ये नाम याद नहीं. Natukal, a heroic stone. Name two important seaports of the eastern coast. Eastern coast. Muzri, I think. Muzri and Korkai. Korkai and Arikamedu. Korkai and Arikamedu of eastern. Name three active seaports of the western coast of Muziris, Tindis and Naura. Muziris, Tindis and Naura. Which Sangam era text mentions that marriage rituals practiced by Aryans in the north were also followed in Tamil culture? Which Sangam? Tolki Payyam by Tolki Payyar. Tolki Payyam by Tolki Pariyar. The text Tolki Payyam mentions this cultural interaction. Instead of fourfold Varna system, machine table Kutti system. Kutti. What was the term for the belief in magical Anakam? Ananku in Mali. Which Chera king is credited with starting the Patni cult? Goddess Kanagi. Sengu Tavan Patni cult. What warlike tribal group is credited with occupying the territories of Sangam kingdoms, leading to their decline? Kalabharas. The period of roughly 300 CE to 600 CE is history dominated by dark age, क्योंकि कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. The 6th century CE, which two dynasties emerged at Kanchipuram and Badami respectively. Pallavas and Chalukyas. Pandavas of Kanchipuram, Chalukyas of Badami. Pallavas were contributed development of the Dravida style architecture. Initial Pallava temple architecture which involved carving of chamber. Mandapa style. The Mandapa style evolved into the Ratha style. 7 Padogas, example of which style of Pallava architecture? Ratha style, and it had 5 Pandavas, Durga, goddess Durga and Lord Krishna. Which Pallava ruler reigns saw the construction of the first freestanding temples such as Shore temple at Mahabalipuram? Pallava ruler ना महेंद्र वर्मन. नहीं, महेंद्र वर्मन के बाद कौन था? Narasimhavarman was the first to construct the freestanding temples such as Shore temple at Mahabalipuram. Which famous Pallava era sculpture at Mahabalipuram depicts a scene of austerity for divine favor? Arjuna's parents is a famous sculpture depicting this. The Chalukyas of Badami contributed to the development of Dravida style of architecture. Vesara style, sorry. What architecture feature involving the enclosed passage circumambulation around the sanctum became essential in Vesara style. Parikrama. Thus, the Sandhara style became the essential feature. Sandhara. Sanctum enclosed Parikrama के लिए. Okay. Due to presence of over 70 temple structures, which Chalukya site Aihole. Which Magnetic Hindu temple was considered Padakal during the era of Chalukyan king Shiva temple? Virupaksha temple at the Chalukyan king Vikramaditya II. Virupaksha. A famous painting from the Ajanta caves depicts the Chalukyan king Pulkeshin to receive an ambassador from which region? Persia. In the context of megalithic period, what is the dolmen? Don't know. Dolmen is a type of megalithic tomb made of big slabs or boulders found in Tamil Nadu. The urn burial system, a practice from megalithic period, is prominently evidenced at which site of Toothkundi district of Tamil Nadu? Don't know. Adichanallur. What tradition described in Sangam literature considered an extension of menhir type of megalithic threat? Tradition of erecting hero stones to call memory of dead warriors. Excavation at which megalithic site in Vellore district unearthed black and red ware? Payyampalli में मिला है. Discover Brahmi writing at which megalithic site in Erode district dates the end of burial practice of 3rd centuries. Was made at Kodumanal. The Greco-Roman text from the 1st century CE corroborated the importance of which group of rulers in Sangam. The text corroborated the position of Muvedar, the 3 crowned. Muvedar. Greco-Roman text, the 1st CE. What is the term for the period between the Sangam age and the Pallava? What is the term for the period between Sangam age and the Pallava? What is the term for the period of Sangam age and Pallava? Tamilakam. What is the term for the period between the Sangam age and the Pallava Pandya period? Dark age. The period known as the age of Kalabras. Which famous Tamil epic written by Satanar is a Buddhist text that provides insight into social cultural beliefs of post-Sangam period. Mani Mekalai is a Buddhist epic written by Satanar. Mani Mekalai. Satanar. Buddhist. The Sangam epic Silpadikaran was authored by Talangu. ऐसे कर दो कुछ नाम. Ilango Adigal. The religious and devotional Bhakti movement which later spread across India is understood to have originated in which region? South India or in Tamil country? अभी भी टेम्पल वाले क्वेश्चन मेरे को पहले जा रहे हैं. पहले करते हैं साउथ इंडिया क्वेज. इसको थोड़ा साइड रख देते हैं मेरे लिए. फोकस ऑन द क्वेश्चंस. The Sangam literature text Tolkapiyam. The Sangam literature text Tolkapiyam provides evidence of the Sangam literature text Tolkapiyam by Tolkapariyar provides evidence of cultural interaction between North and South India, mentioning what specific practice. According to Sangam points, what was the expected action of a king who was defeated? To surrender to authoritative bit of Vattakirutal. What is the distinct feature of megalithic culture in South India as Neolithic Iron Age as the use of flowers? The discovery of Khiladi civilization near Madurai is significant because it suggests the complete isolation of South India from rival. In the context of Sangam age landscapes, which Thinai ecozone was associated with capital lifting Pallai. The period 300 to 600, the Calabras. The what archaeological feature is characteristic of early Neolithic sites in South India, such as Utnur, Palvoi, Kupgal. What archaeological feature? What archaeological feature is India such as Utnur, Palvoi? Large granaries, nahi, metalized surrounding the worship of goddess Kannagi, Patani cult in South India by which Sangam age king Singu Tavam Chera. Recent archaeological findings at Thamira Barani have challenged previous understanding of South India history by providing evidence of what? The recent archaeological findings at Thamira Barani challenged previous understanding of South Indian history. Indigenous advanced civilization with advanced material dated back 12th century BC. Unlike in North India, the prehistory of South India is said as lacking a clear evolutionary process. What is the primary argument by scholars who view the Sangam priorities and Cheras, Cholas, and Pandyas as pre-state chiefdoms rather than organized states? The absence of power, taxation, the lack of warfare, the use of Tamil language, the complete absence of kings and health. Primary argument used by scholars of Sangam polities. Pandyas as Cheras, Cholas, as pre-state chiefdoms rather than organized state. Which of the following sites in South India are identified with the Paleolithic age of the discovery of Acheulean tradition tools? Which of the following sites in South India are identified with Paleolithic age? Tradition tools. Atarapakam, Pallavaram. Attipakam मैंने शायद याद करा था. The development of Dravida style in Mahabalipuram began with initial form. Hybrid shore temple cave architecture with monolith was carved. What evidences supports the claim of advanced maritime trade during the Thamira Barani civilization? King, archaeological finding, discovery of large number of Roman colonies, considering a large structural dock similar to one at the Lothal. ये हो सकता है, but large number of gold related pearl fishing. This is actually said that evidence of advanced knowledge of metallurgy. The Roman trade flourished much later during the Sangam age. Sangam age में हुआ था. The Ratha style of Pallava architecture are exemplified 7 Ptogas. What is the key difference? Temples from one rock and the Sangam society social structure was primarily based on the Kuti system. How is the system? It is social structure based on lineage and hereditary occupation. A rigid fourfold, a military hierarchy, a division based on economic status, merchants only. What is the primary reason for grouping urn burials under the megalithic culture of Tamil Nadu, even when they lack the characteristic of large stones? Megalithic inscriptions, the urns themselves are carved. The primary reason for grouping urn burials under the megalithic The Chalukyan style of temple architecture, known as Vesara, is best described as early. What is Natukal? Heroic stone. The counter argument of the theory that Sangam polities were pre-state chiefdoms point to evidence of taxation found in what specific location? The counter argument of the theory that Sangam polities were pre-state highway and in port from tribute collected from Kalavaras, city Madurai. Which of the South Indian Neolithic sites located in Tamil Nadu is noted for unearthed black and red ware? Payyampi. The sculpture Descent of Ganga is a remarkable feature of the found at which Pallava architectural site? Shiv Temple, Kali, Kalisanath Temple, Mahaballipuram, Mamalapuram. The term Teri site in the context of military sites located in what type of landscape? What type of land? Coastline. River valleys and caused by sand dunes. What is the primary content of the Sangam literary theme known as Agam and Puram? Mozari, Tindis and Naura are western coast. Standara style, which became enclosed sanctorium. An enclosed passage of circumambulation around the sanctum. 82%. Postmodern, we have South Indian flashcards. तो हम लोग टेम्पल करते हैं ना. What type of temple architecture was promoted by Guptas in North India? Gupta North India में अच्छा Gupta Nagara style. What was the primary spiritual movement that strongly promoted the emergence of temple architecture? Bhakti movement. In the first phase of Gupta temple architecture, what was the shape of Garbhagriha, sanctorium square? What type of roof was characteristic on the flat roof? What is the primary building material of first phase? Primary stone still. During the second phase of Gupta architecture, 500 to 600 CE temples were mainly used, unlike the stone temples in the first temple. Dash temples, Nagara temples, brick. What architectural feature was added to the rooftop? क्या था विमान और curvilinear shape क्या कहेंगे curvilinear शिखरा. The Bhitargaon temple in Kanpur, a prime example of Gupta architecture, has the earliest example of a true arc. In the Odyssean style of temple architecture, what was the deul? Deul was a curvilinear shikhara or viman. Curvilinear shikhara or viman designed on the top of Garbhagriha. Jagmohan was a mandapa or audience chamber for normal people. Which dynasty of Tamil Nadu contributed to the development of Theravada style? Dynasty start to Pallavas से हुआ था. What was the first site where the Pallavas developed the Theravada style? Mahabalipuram. The earliest form of Pallava temple architecture where a monolith was carved out, a chamber of mandapa, is known as mandapa style. Which Pallava architecture style involved carved multiple independent Visara style? Ratha style. Visara is a hybrid. What is the collective name for the 7 separated temples? 7 padogas. 7 padogas. Saat padoga. Sapt padogas. Name one of the remarkable features of found at Mahabalipuram. Sculpture features. Sculpture features found at. So we find panels of Arjuna, Dharmaraj, Durga, descent of Ganga or Arjuna's penance, goddess Durga as a Mahisasur Mardini, Lord Krishna lifting Govardhan Parvat. रुको कुछ रह गया था. During which Pallava king reigned where the first freestanding example XC2 temple construction South India. Pallava king महेंद्र वर्मन का कौन है यार? भूल जाता हूँ. नरसिम्हा वर्मन. What is the most famous example of freestanding sexual temple built by the Pallavas at Mahabalipuram? शिवा टेम्पल. शोर टेम्पल. ये शिवाजी के विषय में पढ़ेंगे हम. The smaller temples built in 8th century CE by the Pallavas such as Vaikuntha Perumal temple was constructed in which style? It was Mandapa. Nandi Varman style. What is the term for the hybrid style Vesara? Which dynasty is credited with the emergence of the Vesara style of temple architecture? Which dynasty? Chalukyas. Which three sites of Karnataka are discovered the primary centers of development of Vesara style? यार ये तो Aihole, Badamian, Patakal. रुक जाओ 2 सेकंड. Sorry. Aihole, Badami and Patadakal. In the Vesara style, what architectural elements are typically borrowed from the Nagara style? Carving, sculpture, Viman, so curvilinear shape. Decoration, carvings and shikhar. What features did the Vesara style borrow from the Dravida style? Design, mandapa, layout, construction designs, mandapa and verandas. Sanctum deity was enclosed with Sandhara style. First time known as city of temples, Aihole. Achieved the zenith of Dravida style Cholas. Which Chola ruler was for the construction of Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjore? Raja. What is the height of Viman, main tower of the Brihad at 60 meters? What massive architectural element is placed on the top of Shikhara? Stone slab. In the second phase, Chola temperature. How did the Gopuram change in relation to Vimana? It got smaller. No, Gopurams became taller than Vimana. Okay. Hoysala. विजयनगर टेम्पल की यहाँ क्यों बात हो रही है? विजयनगर. What is the term for the sanctorium in Hindu temple? Garbhagriha. What is the term for the main tower of pyramid? Vimana Shikhara and Vimana and Dravida style. The Chalukyan king Vikramaditya constructed which magnificent Hindu temple at Padakal, Karnataka? Virupaksha temple. Made by Vikramaditya Chalukyan king, Padakal, Karnataka. The Kailashna temple at Ellora, hewn from a single rock, built by which Rashtrakuta king? Krishna I. The Durga temple at Aihole is prime example of which architectural style? Vesara. The first clever discovered hand axe Pallava Robert Fusut. ये क्या रैंडम आ रहा है क्या? कई बार ये रैंडम कुछ भी दे देता है। है प्रॉब्लम बट है ये भी अच्छा भी के लिए क्विज कर लेते हैं टेम्पल क्विज। The Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjore, the pinnacle of Dravida architecture, which Chola ruler commissioned. The Visara style of temple architecture which emerged in Bagalkot, this in Karnataka, is described as which Eastern Ganga dynasty, Konrak Sun temple, also known as Black Pagoda, in 13th century. बहुत कुछ मिस कर दिया। ये सब तो मुझे याद है कि या तो मैंने, मुझे लग रहा है एक पूरा पेज ही मिसिंग है कहीं। आई एम फीलिंग लाइक इट कि भाई कोई पेज मिसिंग है, तो मैंने लिखा ही नहीं है। पेज तो मिसिंग नहीं लग रहा, चीज़ें ऐड करनी पड़ेंगी। सन टेम्पल ब्लैक पगोडा, ये मैंने पढ़ा है पर मैंने लिखा नहीं लग रहा मुझे। नरसिम्हा वन, ब्लैक पगोडा 13th सेंचुरी ब्लैक पगोडा चोला ईस्टर्न गंगा डायनेस्टी। अच्छा ये तो मिडीवल का है ना, तभी मैं सोचूं मैं इसका आंसर नहीं कर पाया भाई। यहाँ तो भाई ईस्टर्न गंगा डायनेस्टी यहाँ पे तो होना चाहिए, नहीं तो की होगा रे अपना धर्मपा विजयना बुद्धिस्ट ट्रेडिशन देव स्टूलर सपोर्टेड किंग बालपुत्र देव ट्राई-पार्टी स्ट्रगल सेना डायनेस्टी श्मीर, ये रहा ना सन टेम्पल कोनरक कोनार्क टेम्पल सन टेम्पल दैट इज किंग नरसिम्हा। Pallava dynasty contribution evolved through district which style evolved carving multiple independence Ratha style. The Bhitargaon temple in Kanpur is a significant example of second phase Gupta architecture. What notable architectural feature does this brick temple possess? Flat roof temple with a true arc. Which Rashtrakuta king commissioned the famous monolithic Kailash temple at Ellora dedicated to Lord Shiva? Location 2 Krishna one. मैंने शायद पीछे देखा था, मतलब पीछे करा था, भूल गया मैं। ओके टेम्पल एट एलोरा, कैलाश टेम्पल एट एलोरा बाय कृष्णा वन फ्रॉम राष्ट्रकूटा डायनेस्टी। विजयनगर मैं अटेम्प्ट ही नहीं कर रहा क्योंकि मैं जानता ही नहीं विजयनगर बिल्कुल। विरूपाक्षा टेम्पल एट पदाकल वाज मेंटेन्ड चालुक्यन कंस्ट्रक्शन, नो कंसीडर दैट मिलिट्री विक्ट्री ओवर द पल्लवास। ओवर द पल्लवास ना, तो फिर चोलाज होंगे। चोलाज में कौन होगा? महेंद्र वर्मन चोला थोड़ी है। राजा ही है यार, विक्रमादित्य 2 ये वाला राजा, हाँ विक्रमादित्य 2। द सिटी ऑफ Aihole is called a city temples of India numerous. The Durga temple at Aihole, Visara style. The water signal architecture shift observed in second phase. Temples are carved monothetically. Temples were constructed primarily from brick. Flat roofs, gopurams became taller than main Vimana tower. The Jagannath temple at Puri, famous example for decent style of Nagara architecture, who is to construct in 11th century. Anantvarman, Jagannath temple, king of Odisha, na Kheravela. Anantvarman, the source state the famous Jagannath temple. Jagannath temple, Anantvarman. The early cave architecture of modern period found in the Barabar. ये एक रैंडम क्वेश्चन दे रहे हैं बीच में. Mahabalipuram represents the significant transition of Pallava architecture. What was this key development? The Show temple at Mahabalipuram represent a magnificent transition in Pallava architecture. What was this key development? Which dynasty expanded upon the Chalukyan Visara style, leading to the also got Chalukyan Hosalya temple architecture? नाम से बता दिया भाई. The Nagara style of temple architecture promoted by the Guptas evolved in two phases. Friends, first phase used brick Nagara style na. First monolithic rock used Nagara style ना. वुड थोड़ी यूज करेंगे, स्टोन यूज करते हैं फर्स्ट. हाँ
फोन
किसका उठा ले, देख बात कर रहे हैं. मैं कह देना मम्मी नीचे.
हेलो
द पांड्यास कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू temple architecture in South India besides maintaining and expanding temples. What type of unique temples did they create? Pillar, Patti and Kalugumalai hybrid वैसा. पांड्यास कहाँ के थे? पल्लवास के बाद चालुक्यास, राष्ट्रकूटास, पांड्यास. रॉक कट होगा फिर तो. The Odishan style of Nagara architecture characterized by two main components. Audience chamber. What is the specific name for the audience chamber? Jagmohan. The source mentioned that Hazara Swami and Vithala Swami temples are exemplary of Vijayanagar style. What is this style considered to be an advanced stage of? I don't know. What title was given to architect of the Virupaksha temple at Patikal? Mention the current history of East Porch. Shivpadasekaran, Koila Nakku, Parama Maheshwara, Tirubhu Vacharya, Tribhu Avacharya. Which of these temples constructed by Pallavas in 8th century CE? Smaller Nandi Varman style. Vaikuntha Perumal in Kanchipuram. The Chola temple at Chidambaram, built by Kulothunga, an example by the second phase of the Veda architecture. What picture of the Brihadeshwara? Central Viman. The Lingaraja temple of Bhubaneswar is an example of Odishan style. Which dynasty is associated? ईस्टर्न गंगा डायनेस्टी. वापस गलत हो गया केसारी भाई. अर्ली मिडिवल का क्वेश्चन था. द चालुक्य डेवलप्ड टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर एट सेवरल साइट्स इन कर्नाटक. विच चालुक्यन रूल इज एसोसिएटेड विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ फ्री स्टैंडिंग मेघुति टेम्पल? Primary purpose for the development of temple architecture during Gupta period according to the source. Primary purpose for the development of temple architecture: to serve, to house deities, to showcase high-grade, to act as administrator. The source is that Sandhara style as featured flat roof, flowering gateway. 76. टाइपिंग प्रैक्टिस भी करनी है यार मुझे, वो भी इसी में गिनूँगा मैं अभी के लिए तो। बट आज के लिए रिवीजन तो हो ही गई है अब। पोस्ट मॉडर्न का है, पोस्ट मॉडर्न ये रहा ना, साकाज आए, पार्थियंस, पल्लवास, कुसानाज, सतवाहनाज, ईशावाकुस, चेदीज। टाइपिंग प्रैक्टिस हो जाए हो जाए। साउंड की तो मेरे